All right. Good evening today. Really excited to be continuing my series of interviews here with some local Orlando small business owners. This evening, I'm fortunate enough to be joined by Justin Cobb of New Dimensions Wellness. Welcome, Justin. Thanks for coming on today and sharing your time.
Man, I appreciate you for having me. I'm excited.
Totally. Really pumped to have you here. So this is going to be a little different. I know we were talking beforehand than the standard interviews I've been doing with business owners because I have been working with you guys for a little bit, but that's not really the focus here tonight. We can touch on that possibly a little bit, but I personally have experienced this as a patient, have been to different physical therapists, and then I have, as a patient, also worked with yourself and Brantley there at New Dimensions, and I can just see the different take, if you will, on physical therapy and some like I'd say kind of outside the box approaches that I think you guys bring to the table. So you want to start off with that and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody gets their standard education in school. You know what you need in order to pass a state exam, or get your license or get certified. Me as a person, I've always had the quest to continue learning, keep learning. So I'm always trying to evolve my practice with the things that one, find that work, in practice, and also with evidence and research and everything else. But I'm always trying to implement different things and learn different things and apply different things, and then take the ones that work and throw out the ones that don't. So, I kind of took that basic physical therapy knowledge that you got from school, and then, grab things from everywhere. Anytime I see something good, or take a course and, get a new little, everyone says a new nugget or a tool in your toolbox. I try to take those tools and apply it to what I do at New Dimensions to help people the most.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell. I've seen it firsthand, and the experience of patients as well. I've seen their response and just positive all throughout. Let's step back a little bit too. So
Okay.
let's talk about New Dimensions as a whole. So how did it come to be? You and Brantley, what's kind of the vision, the goals for the clinic in itself?
Yeah, for sure. So, New Dimensions is actually a very long vision of mine for a while. So, growing up, my mother was an acupuncture physician, and so I grew up in what would be called a holistic or alternative household. Homeopathics when we were sick, acupuncture, crystals, drums, all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I came up with knowing the benefits of that stuff, because I saw it help me all throughout my childhood and even into young adulthood. So when I was going to school, I wanted to stay involved in sports. And, typically you didn't see, well, at least at that time, too many acupuncturists in sports. It was always seemed like they were the hippies, or working with, just the Asian population. And maybe this was just my mind, I don't know. But to be around sports, I went and I did athletic training. And then I quickly found out that athletic trainers do a lot of work, and they don't really get rewarded for it. So I was like, man, I got to do something else. So I contemplated med school. But being that I came up in an alternative background, I was actually, anti-medicine. It was, somewhat, I don't want to say anti-surgery, but anti-surgery when it's not needed. I didn't want to, force surgery on people. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do where I can incorporate, holistic ideas and everything I learned along with helping people. So I ended up getting my master's in physical therapy. Soon to find out too that even physical therapy is real kind of institutionalized, and you have to follow these guidelines. And if you do something different, insurance doesn't cover. So I always had this vision of, man, I want to bring everything that I like, everything that I've learned in my lifetime that has worth and value under one roof. Whether it's, who knows what it's, acupuncture, massage therapy, physical therapy, hyperbaric chamber, sauna. So now when you come to New Dimensions, you kind of see that reflection of everything under one roof. Um, the second part of that is you touched how me and Brantley came together. As I was working as a physical therapist, Chuck Wolf was one of my mentors. He was working at the same facility as me. And he introduced me to looking at the body in a completely different way, looking at it more functionally. How does the ankle joint affect the shoulder on the opposite side? And, just a whole holistic view of the body and breaking down biomechanics. Brantley was going to school at UCF while I was working with Chuck. And Chuck went and spoke to his class. They, I guess they became friends, or they piqued each other's interest. And Brantley actually came in and started doing some work with Chuck and, learning from Chuck as well. And, that's how me and Brantley met. So when I was like, man, I want to go off on this venture, and, who would I want to come with me?
Yeah.
And, Brantley was on my short list for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah. I got to say, as far as going back to the holistic part that you were talking about, I was kind of amazed when I stepped in and just started seeing some of the things. I thought it was super cool because I had a very similar upbringing myself. And I don't know, from the outside, I mean, you hear the word physical therapy, and at least for me, I think there's like a certain stigma that it's just a very certain way. And
well, kind of how my mind was with acupuncture.
Right.
You hear acupuncture and you think, okay, it has to look like this,
Yeah.
And then I met you.
Yeah. Exactly. The guy with the crazy hair and
the white
these
guy
are my
with
herbs.
the crazy hair.
Yeah.
Exactly,
these are my herbs, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, I think that's a really cool thing. And then what you and Brantley are doing, I think it's a really amazing vision. And I know I've brought some people in, and I even heard it through one of the patients today that she was just like, man, she mentioned another city. I think it was either to you or Brantley. I heard from down the hall. Mm-hmm. Do you know of another facility like this? Like in, I think it was New York City she was asking. And, New York City is a huge place. So there's very good chance there is something like that in New York City. But I think that's a very high praise to have people come in and that sort of question, because it really does stand alone. I mean, I know personally, I had brought a couple of the Orlando City soccer players in from last season, and both of them were like just blown away. They were like, man, the whole time we've been in Orlando, we've never seen anything like this. And I mean, they've played soccer all around the US, and they were like, we've seen a couple facilities like this, but they really hadn't experienced anything at that level. And unfortunately, they came in right before they had left the team, but they were definitely super impressed with everything that's going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes me happy. Makes me feel proud of what we accomplished. But I hear a lot of people saying that, like, no, man, I didn't know this existed here. Like, this is amazing. Like, how does no one know about this? Or so once this interview goes viral, you'll probably be super busy.
Yeah, I mean, It's going to be a shame people are missing out if not. Like, seriously, not even just saying that.
Yeah, we'll get the word out. It'll spread, and everything happens in the perfect timing of life and when it's supposed to happen. So, I'm kind of one of those build it and they'll come.
Yeah.
What was that Field of Dreams or something?
Yeah.
If you build it, they'll come.
Great movie.
So I actually thought about that as I was, gonna jump off this ledge and open this huge facility. Like, build it, they'll come. Like, it'll work.
Because I mean, taking any sort of leap, I mean, it's just how you have to be as an entrepreneur. I mean, there's got to be like a little bit of fear in there that you're like, WTF, what am I getting into here? I mean, I've got my dream and I know I can do it, but there's still probably at least that little bit back there in the back of your head that you're like, man, this is some heavy stuff.
For sure. Yeah. You know what? And for me, also having a partner is good because you're not walking through the woods by yourself. It kind of makes things easier. So, Brantley helped a lot with that, but also, like reading the books and stuff. And what is it like? You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
True. Yeah.
So, I always kind of played this mind game with myself called like, what's the worst case scenario?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, if I do this and it falls on his face, like, what's the worst case scenario? Man, I'll go back and I'll get a job doing physical therapy, like I did before. I mean, like, so the worst case scenario is never that bad. I mean, I'm homeless on the street. Like, I have too many good friends and connections for that to happen. So I'm always like, man, let me take this shot, man. Let me heave one up and see what happens.
Good outlook.
Yeah.
Something else I know when I started working with you guys that yourself and Brantley put a lot of time into is your app and all the videos that you guys have filmed. Why don't we talk a little bit about that and some of the programs
Yeah.
you've designed through that that people may not know about?
Yeah, so like within the relationship of me and Brantley, I'm the dinosaur, and Brantley's the
Okay.
young Thundercat. So like when we first started talking about joining forces, because I thought about it. I mean, who everyone thinks about. Yep, I got to make an app, and this. But
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm like the old grumpy guy, like the internet, man. Oh man, and like when I talked to Brantley about possibly joining together, he's like, I want to make an app. Da, da, da. I was like, yes, like that's it, like that's so well, really, the app is just to be able to take our philosophy and man, I mean, bring it to the world. Like the internet's such an amazing tool. Like we could be as busy as possible and only see this many people in a day, but I mean, with the internet and the app, I mean, people in Africa could be doing what we're doing. I mean, really anywhere that has the internet. So, I mean, I guess from a business standpoint, it's a necessity, but also just from the ability to help people and touch people and put stuff out there, man. And the possibilities are infinite. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, totally.
So yeah, so we have our 12-week program, just learning how to move, learning our philosophies, and with the platform we have, we have the capabilities of adding in our mental programs, meditation programs, breathing programs, specific tool programs. I mean, really anything. And so that lady who's like, hey, is there a place like you guys in New York? It's like, yeah, log on to your iPhone and it's right there.
Yeah.
So it's also
Brilliant.
being able to touch those people. Or we have the professional athletes that come in that they leave for a few months out of the year for their season, like to be able to stay connected and have a plan. And so yeah, the app is huge for us.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that as far as them.
Oh yeah, I mean what do I do when I'm gone? Well,
Yeah.
log on to the app. Maybe we can load things up in there for you. Make your special programs or follow our weekly workouts.
Mm-hmm. And then I know, like, I think Brantley broke down specific sport programs within it. I think he did one for like golfers, another one for wakeboarders, like something like that, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of a series that we're starting now. So we do have like our water sport program, our wakeboard, water ski, wake surf stuff. But we are going to make our golf program, our mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu programs, and my vision is to team up with always the greatest and the best thinkers in the world and get their ideas and let's bring it together and put it in the app and put it out there and do it, man. Put the information, let's put the knowledge out there for the world and people to get better and grow.
Yeah, super cool. So the facility itself, I know you touched on some of the things that are available there, like the hyperbaric chamber, the infrared sauna. Obviously, right now they're not really going on. There were some group fitness classes going on. I remember before. Right. I will put a link in the video to your website so people can check out the facility because there's pictures on the website, right?
Yeah, on our website, and then also like if you go to Google and you search us, I mean, people put photos and stuff up there, so there's a lot in there from Google. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
There might even be something from like the timeline when I said this was a vision 10 years ago. So you'll see new dimensions from 10 years ago, and kind of watch how it's grown.
That would be super cool. I'm gonna have to look at that afterwards.
Yes,
see what I can pick out there.
It's like an awesome chia pet that keeps growing.
I know all about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
I see the lack of barbers is really affecting you.
Killing me, man.
Yeah. So, obviously you guys work with a lot of athletes. Many of them are professional, but it also seems like there's a fair amount of, I don't want to call them normal people because everybody has their special abilities and traits, but like
for sure,
let's say non-professional athletes.
Non-professional athlete, yeah.
Yeah, just maybe the weekend warrior types, or and then you've got I see a fair amount of children in too, or I mean, I'm old.
Yeah, for sure.
10, 12,
yeah,
13,
I mean,
14.
Man, I guess you call it, fortunate, blessed that, yeah, we really get to see everybody, and everybody poses their own unique challenges. Usually when you see a professional athlete, they more or less know how to use their body and manipulate their body. So, some of the cues are different, but when you can take I'll just use the average Joe that hasn't done sports his whole life and, has never been in the gym or done any sort of athletic activity, and then teaching them how to move better and feel better. And then you start seeing light bulbs going off because, they're feeling things in their body and making connections, and, they're feeling pain subsiding. It's actually really rewarding.
That's awesome. How is it with, because I mean, I have worked with some kids in my career. I just have not worked with a large amount, I'd say. Like, is it kind of that same way with them? Because I feel like most of the kids that you guys get in are probably heavily involved in athletics.
Yeah, I guess that's fair to say, because like a lot of the kids that we worked with, have usually hear about us from some sort of like an injury. So,
Yeah.
they hurt their ankle or they did this, and, typically that happens in athletics.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of the kids are athletes, but even with these kid athletes, like they really don't know how to use their body yet. Like they haven't been too conditioned, to move in a certain way, or, some have, but, not all of them. So, catching them young and changing some of those mechanics and teaching them things, you could still, see these quick changes in the children.
And probably while they are developing like that, honestly, you saying that just kind of like sparked off a thought for me that while they're in that development process and they haven't really acquired the patterns, if you will. So let's say they're a soccer player potentially, and, soccer players have certain types of movements they do. You guys getting a hold of them at a young enough age and correcting any imbalances and kind of getting their movements should theoretically help their play improve, astronomically, I would think. Say you get them at like 10, 11 years old and you make minor corrections there, as opposed to them doing things wrong for 5 years. You catch what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, teaching them a new way early on before too many, compensations become ingrained in the neuromuscular patterns, makes things, much easier, for sure.
You said it a little more eloquently than I did. That's
Yeah, I
that's
just
what I
threw
was
out
getting. Yeah,
neuromuscular patterns. Threw out my big word for the day.
that's what I meant. Yeah, that's like a 35-point word in
Yeah,
Scrabble.
at least.
All right.
If I can figure out how to spell it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes with these words, like I'm typing my notes and I'm like, oh man, what do we?
Yeah, I could say it. I
Use the
don't ask me to
Google.
spell it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Type it
Exactly.
up like that. So you had mentioned prior to the facility, you guys for a little bit, you were like out of a baseball place or something. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so man, I'll give you just a quick progression.
Yeah.
I was working for a company called Sports Specific Training and Rehabilitation for about 7 years. That was right out of physical therapy school. They were like the premier, sports, sports training and physical therapy facility in Orlando. One of the Magic guys was a part owner, so like Magic guys would be in and out. Anytime any athlete got hurt in Orlando, they were sent there. So I worked there for 7 years, and great experiences, learned a lot. That's where I met Chuck Wolf and a lot of other good friends of mine now that have helped me out. But when the time came for me to go off on my own, I actually, they blessed me and allowed me to start renting space there at first. But after a while, it made it. I guess I don't want to say it was weird, but being that I was a physical therapist for them for so long, and then my face still being there, but I wasn't, really with them anymore. It was kind of a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
So, I had to move, and then I ended up training out of a baseball facility for a while. It was a huge facility, but it didn't reflect the brand that I wanted New Dimensions to be, or the vibe that I wanted New Dimensions to be. Because you walk into a baseball facility and you got cages, like tink, tink,
Yeah.
like seeds on the floor, and like, some ladies coming in to see me, to do neuroemotional technique for cancer. And I'm like, oh man, like the vibe was just, you know, I guess it worked just all based off of relationship and the trust of the referrals that, people like, yo, just go see this guy, he's good. Mm-hmm. So that worked for a while. And then that company just moved out overnight.
Wow.
Man, I was actually down at a Miami Dolphins game down south, where I was born, and been tailgating. So, I was probably, 2 or 3 deep, possibly, hamburgers.
And, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the call, from the gentleman, and he's like, hey, look, man, we just moved our stuff out. We moved here. You might want to come and either, put your stuff in storage, or I was like, oh, wow, whoa. So man, I went up the next day, I guess I went up on Monday. I was like, hey, Brent, man, here's what happened. So we put all our stuff in storage, and we actually ended up working out of this facility probably for like another 2-3 weeks with nobody there. We still had a key. People haven't come in to clear it out, but it was empty. Man, it was empty. Besides, we had all our equipment in Brantley's truck. So like we were kind of like squatters, And it was cool, man, because we still had like some of the top athletes in the world, coming to see us, and we're like squatting in this building. And then one of these days, we're working, and the electricity goes.
No.
So we're like, man, I guess now we're really gonna have to figure something out. So we had all these ideas. Like, here's what we do, man. We can train in the park. We can train at this jiu-jitsu school. I had talked to some of the jiu-jitsu schools that I had relationships with. But what we ended up doing, and we found a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
And man, and they really looked out for us, and they allowed us to rent some space. So we were working out of a little corner of a CrossFit gym. All we had, we threw out our table, had a couple of our, few pieces of equipment, and we were working out of that CrossFit gym for a little bit. And then a good friend of mine who he was a patient of mine, he trains jiu-jitsu. He ended up purchasing a building next door to his, and he moved the Gracie Baja Orlando to the back part of the building, real big building. I want to say the whole building's like 12,000 square feet or something. He's like, man, do you want the front? He's like, it's about 6,000 square feet. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm trying to do numbers in my head. And I'm like, yeah, man, I want to, man, but like, man, that doesn't, the math doesn't add up when, when I'm thinking about what I've been doing. And that's where the leap of faith came in. I was like, let's go, man, let's jump off. Talk to a few different friends and stuff of mine. And, man, they all gave me their blessings, whether with words or, whatever else. And, and now we are what you see today, and hopefully we just kind of continue to grow and keep doing that. Just follow the path that God, the universe sets out for you, and that's what I'm doing.
That's a cool progression. Yeah,
man. It's been, and the cool thing about it all is I had people that have been with me from the very start.
Really,
and they haven't left me yet. So. That says something. So like, man, that's relationship. That's life. That's like, that's what it's about. Let's support each other and build each other up, and
And I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, but I do know, but I can't speak for you, I should say. So I know, at least for me as a practitioner, like, especially when you're doing, because I mean, me acupuncture wise, I feel like I do a lot of different things acupuncture wise, like you do some very different physical therapy techniques. But when you get a patient and you just get that like boom, and they're like, oh wow, holy crap, what is this? Like that moment where like they just suddenly feel really good when they've had this problem that just they can't get taken care of. Like it's such a good feeling. Like it's so rewarding,
Yeah, I mean, guess at the end of the day, or maybe even at the beginning of the day, that's probably why we chose the path that we chose, right? Like, like that's why we're doing it, to, have people like, oh man, that really helped me. Like, yeah, that like, oh yeah, I mean, man, that's why we're doing it. But in all fairness, man, sometimes it goes the other way too, and you don't help somebody, or
Yeah.
they don't see eye to eye with you, and and I guess just as good as the good sometimes feels, the
Yeah.
bad sometimes feels that when you can't help somebody, or they're like, yeah, it's not for me, or you're like, oh man, like that, you really sometimes you gotta put your ego to the side, for the good and the bad.
I almost equate it to like relievers, especially closers in baseball, how they tell them
Mm-hmm.
like you got to forget the game before, the game
Oh
before
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like you just have to walk out there and do your thing. Cause I'm right there with you on that too. Like, I mean, I've had a few patients. I mean, normally I get pretty good results, I think, but occasionally I'll see a patient like things don't add up and like I'm expecting boom right away something to happen or treatment two something to
Mhm.
happen. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
there. And I'm like, and you gotta
Mhm.
let it go, but it's tough sometimes to not feel like, what am I doing wrong? Because you want to
Yeah,
give your
yeah.
patients the best.
You want to help, you want to
Yeah,
help everybody every single time, and
yeah,
I guess what you say is how do you say, I don't know, not everybody's for everybody.
yeah,
Some people may really vibe with what I do, and get it and feel the benefits, where somebody doesn't. But then whoever's up the street, man, whatever they say or however they deliver what they deliver, man,
yeah,
that's what this person needed.
yeah.
And you can't even really say that anybody's right or wrong. It's just just what people need at the time, and that's part of life.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you wanted to kind of touch, or we talked about earlier, like how kind of our work, our collaboration, can really benefit people.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of switch chairs.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, all right,
We
cool.
can do that
So
real quick. Yeah, you can
yeah,
put me on the hot seat, so to speak.
cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think this would be good for people to hear, because this probably going on your channel and stuff. So
yeah.
when you come in, to a facility where you see different stuff, and maybe practitioners trying different things, how do you feel that acupuncture, your skill set, fits into that sort of environment?
So I think it's really great because, acupuncture, like I do a lot of different, acupuncture is a very broad term, which people don't understand. And I utilize multiple types of acupuncture. I do electroacupuncture. I do sometimes ear acupuncture. I won't get into all the different types, but I do quite a wide variety. So with what I bring to the table, it can accomplish a lot. However, sometimes and very often, I'll see a patient, I'll be like, well, do exercises at home, which, sometimes getting people to comply to that is a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But being able to give them kind of an all in one, if you will, whether it's them seeing you guys first and then seeing me, or vice versa, me seeing them and then them seeing you. There's all sorts of little manual techniques that you guys can do, little corrective exercises, different things to create that muscle memory, so to speak, by kind of how we were talking before about the form and making sure things are firing properly. Like I can do certain things with that, but then you guys do it in a different manner, if that makes sense. And
Mhm.
then
Yeah,
there's,
absolutely.
yeah, there's that synthesis of all of it blending together to really create the ultimate outcome. And then, there's even other modalities that we haven't touched on that are potentially available at the office, like Pilates, for example. And then
Hmm.
the you guys before were doing like a meditation class when classes were allowed, and hopefully we'll get back to that sometime soon.
Yeah.
But just all these other things, because like another reason personally I really appreciate the facility and what you guys bring to the table is that it's really a holistic view, and a lot of people don't understand that. So, and you can take that from, in my perspective, a lot of different ways. So just kind of how you were talking about what your mentor told you about, I think you mentioned like the ankle and the shoulder,
Right, right.
kind of that, and the body all works together. And too often I think people are told, and I don't know if I don't want to say programmed, but they're just given this belief that, oh, well, I've got a bicep issue. And it's like, okay, your biceps don't just stand alone there. Like, you know, there's connective tissue, there's, you know, the deltoids right there. There's all those damn forearm muscles that I can never remember all their exact names right below them. But you know, it's a cohesive unit, your entire body. Yeah, you might have something wrong with the tissue there, but like just looking at the holistic view of it, of the overall pattern, and then kind of from my TCM background, the way I would look at it is there's so much more. Like I had a friend ask me, I was at a stupid fantasy football draft, and he's like, "Oh, hey, my mom's back hurts. Do you think it's okay if she goes and walks and does this?" And I'm like, dude, like back pain, like it's not like back, like it's not like one little thing causes back pain. I mean, there's so
Right.
many different things that could be it. So like from getting to it from a holistic perspective, you look internally, which I think is kind of what you guys do sometimes too. So with regards to diet, with regards to if there's any systemic inflammation that maybe like with that back pain patient, then maybe there's something in their diet that's just causing a lot of inflammation, and that's the
Right.
response they get and they're in pain. It's not necessarily that, you know, they need to be aligned or it's really a soft tissue issue. It's more of an internal issue. And then even deeper, you look at the emotions. And, you know, people don't really, even still, it's more in the forefront now. People don't really make that connection that, you know, in TCM, we talk about grief being related to the lungs and then how that can then cause impairment there. And that's just one perspective on it, but just from a broader view, how emotions can really affect us internally. And you look at it
Yeah.
biomedically, yeah, I mean, you know, cortisol is high, you're going to be
Right.
walking around like it is all, I mean, it's
You
health
made
is
me think
amazing.
about my posture. No,
Yeah.
it's so cool. And I mean, just to, I guess, piggyback on that, and why I'm so happy that you're here is because, one, because it is pretty new, you know, I guess these ideas, or maybe it's not, maybe people always knew it, you know, how what we think affects how we feel, and the acupuncture meridians. And, you know, like you said, if you have you know, a lateral hip pain, maybe it has something to do with the liver, you know, or, you know, liver emotions. So I feel like having you in house, you know, we can tackle all of that. Okay, well, do we need you know, some sort of a liver detox or some herbs to boost liver function, or, you know, with neuromuscular technique, maybe we need you know, to change the subconscious mind, or maybe we just need to activate that hip with a needle, or maybe if that didn't work, we can send them out to, you know, us, and we can activate it through certain movements. So by having that in house, and also having, you know, one thing that struck me about you is like you're a thinker, you know.
Mhm.
All right, well, let's, you know, let's try this. Well, shit, that didn't work. All right, here, let me go back to like this thought and that, and, you know, so you're always trying to, um, you know, use what you've learned through your life to solve an issue, as opposed to just having like a protocol where you'll see at a lot of, you know, I guess I can't really speak for acupuncture because I haven't seen too many, but, you know, a lot of physical therapy places like, all right, knee pain. All right, here's what you're doing. You're going to do glute bridges, you know, wall squats, you know, wall squats with the ball in between your legs, sideline leg raises, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
there's no, you know, like there's no actually no breaking down
Nothing
of
individual. Yeah.
biomechanics or anything, right? So
Yeah.
one thing that impressed me about you, and you know, we've had a few different other acupuncturists in before me and you, you know, were brought together before we crossed paths. But, you know, like some of them would be like, all right, just come on in. You lay down, that
Yeah.
needles. They walk out, and, you know, and like, and some of my patients actually complained, like, yeah, you know, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I felt like a pin cushion, and she walked out. Where the feedback after working with you was like, man, John really listened to what I was going on and explained why he was doing this, and, you know, what class he got it from, and, you know, really trying to solve the issues or activate something, or, you know, move chi, if we're going to talk about TCM. So yeah, so I think that's an awesome fit, and how, you know, how you fit into our facility. And I really look forward to the future of experimenting with, you know, different techniques and ideas to, you know, see what we can, you know, what we can do, what we can come up with, what we can change in people.
Definitely. I'm really excited. I mean, like
Yeah.
the possibilities there, like it's just kind of like we're just that little iceberg exposed right now. Whereas,
Yeah, for sure.
can really tune things in and really get people to understand all the benefits they can receive, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guiding people to those benefits.
Yeah. Well, we're about at time to wrap up here. Was there anything else that you felt like you want to kind of touch on, or?
Oh man, I mean, we could do this. We could do this for 3 days straight, man. We
Oh
could
yeah,
talk
for
about this.
sure.
Yeah, we could talk about this stuff forever. So yeah, maybe we'll save everything for part 2 down the line.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If we get good feedback.
I think we could do that sometime. Yeah. So for those of you out there who have enjoyed this, hopefully you have enjoyed it. Feel free to drop us some comments. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to my channel, please. And I'm going to put the information for New Dimensions website, Instagram. I'm missing anything else here? Instagram, website.
Yeah, website, Instagram. You can put the app up there if you want to.
Yeah.
How to download the app, but that's all on our website. So if people go to our website, they'll be able to get directed everywhere.
Okay. And located. Let me get what your take is, because I give people one set of parameters. I say like kind of on the west side by the jail, which probably that isn't a good thing.
Nah,
to
say, man, don't say that.
I say off Cape Cod in the industrial area, but you probably have a better thing to say.
Right by Millennium Mall.
Right by Millennium Mall. That's much.
Everybody knows. Yeah. Everybody knows Millennium Mall.
That's much more appealing than than
the jail.
Yeah. We're right at Cell Block.
When you get to the jail, you don't make.
CB4. Did you ever see that movie?
Funny. Exactly. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I won't get into anything else, but I think you catch my drift on that one.
100%. Yeah, we got a street cred being by the jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We definitely get more street cred.
Well, thank you so much, Justin.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. That was a blast, and man, I look forward to seeing you at the office soon.
Yeah,
man.
Totally.
All right, my brother, man. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.